Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Locking Your Success Trading Performance Podcast with Master Trading Performance Coach John Locke, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. This is episode number 9, and since the new year is upon us, I'd like to discuss goals. Realize that human beings are what we call goal-seeking organisms. We require goals to survive. We require goals to feel happy. We require goals to feel fulfilled, and whether we are aware of it or not, we all set goals on a regular basis, even if we're not consciously aware of what they are. So you may ask, if we already have goals, why do we want to go through the effort of setting them? Now the problem is that if we don't purposefully set goals with our conscious mind, then our goals are created by our unconscious mind through a combination of the demands and expectations of society and other people, through random situations, and through our genetic disposition toward comfort and the aversion of risk, which in most cases leads to a life that is often very different than what most people might consider successful or fulfilling. In other words, your unconscious, left to its own discretion, creates crappy goals, and you, my friend, are working day and night to achieve those crappy goals. Therefore, if there are things in life that you want, especially anything that requires effort or risk, then you're going to have to override that system consciously and consciously create worthy goals. But in the process of creating these worthy goals, it's also extremely important to recognize that the reason to set goals is not so that we can achieve them. The reason to set goals is to provide ourselves with a worthy direction and to provide fulfillment in our lives. It's about the things you learn, the challenges you overcome, the progress you make, and the person you become in pursuit of those goals. Achieving the goal itself is only a side benefit that occasionally happens as a result of heading in the right direction. Unfortunately, however, this is not the way most people go about goal setting. Most people set a goal and feel it has to be achieved or they've failed. A process that leads to frustration and insecurity and unhappiness. Let me talk about my experience mountain biking. We have a mountain near my house we climb, and I climb it on the mountain bike. And the climb to the top is very long and it's very steep. But there are two ways to climb it. One is fairly straight, consistently steep, and a smooth road. The other way is a long, winding, rocky, steep, technical path with challenging sections and some flatter sections. Now, if we were to look at these two paths, the smooth road would clearly take less physical effort to climb. It's shorter, it has a firm surface, it's smooth, it's consistent. However, to my surprise, when I tried each path, I found the rocky, steep, technical path much easier to climb. How can that be? How can something that obviously takes much more physical effort actually seem easier to do? Well, you see, physical effort is only a small factor in what we as human beings perceive as easy or difficult. For example, you may find it difficult to climb out of bed in the morning on a rainy day so you can go to work. Yet that same task becomes much easier on a bright sunny day when you're leaving to go on a trip you've been looking forward to for the last 3 months, right? And you're excited to start. There's a big difference in effort getting out of bed. Realize there's a huge mental factor in perceived effort. So in the case of the bike ride, I want to make it to the top of the mountain. That's my goal. When I take the road, it's a long, steep, boring grunt to the top. And quite frankly, it's something that I do not look forward to. However, when I take the trail, it may be significantly more physically demanding, but I don't perceive it that way because it's fun. There are lots of landmarks to gauge my progress, and the really difficult challenges, when I overcome them, I reward myself for it. And if I fail at one of those challenges along the way, I also give myself permission to try that challenge again. And there are spots where I can rest and get ready for the next big challenge that I'm going to face on the way up the mountain. And before I know it, I'm at the top. So if we were to expand on that, if I take my bike up the road and my only goal is to get to the top of the mountain, and that's the only way I've allowed myself to win, the only way is to reach this one huge goal at the top of the mountain, then as I'm going along, at some point I might think, this sucks. I mean, all I've done is I've been grinding and grinding, and I'm tired and I'm mentally exhausted. I put out all this effort, and in my mind, I'm still far away from my reward. If that's the case, I'm likely to think, hey, this isn't working. It's simply not worth the effort of continuing to get to that goal. And maybe I'll give up. I'll consider the journey a failure. Even though I made great progress toward the top, and I've gotten stronger in the process, but because I didn't reach my goal, and that was the only thing that mattered, I have nothing to show for it. I have failed. I set a goal, I put in a lot of effort, I suffered in agony, pushing myself towards that goal, and I ultimately didn't make it. I gave up. Now, the problem with this way of doing things is that even if I do reach the goal, I suffered all the way there. And once I got there, any satisfaction I allow myself to feel, it's only going to last a very short time. After which, I'm going to go back into dissatisfaction and start that agony all over again with yet another big goal. No wonder so few people actually go through the process of setting goals. If that was the way I looked at it, I wouldn't want to do it either. Let's look at another approach. What if I set the goal of making it to the top of the mountain? And I even take that more challenging trail, but instead of focusing solely on this one huge goal at the top, what if I set a whole bunch of progress goals and I rewarded myself each time I reached one? What if I thought, okay, my first goal here, I'm going to the top of the mountain, but my first goal here is to make it to that corner. Yes, right, I made it. Great job. Gave myself a pat on the back, a little reward. Then my next goal is to push through that rock garden. Yes, I made that one. Great job. My next goal is to reach that next ridge at the top of that hill. Whoops, well, I didn't make that one. That's okay. I give myself permission to fail. Let me go try that again. Let me go back and try that a little differently and get to that next level. And I try it a little differently. And yes, awesome, I make it. And now to the next corner, and so on and so on. If I did that all the way up the mountain, I might still be exhausted. And I still may not make it to the top. But I'm very satisfied along the way. So even if I never reach that major goal, mentally, I feel good. I had fun. I've experienced wins. I've had successes, and I'm inspired to take another shot at that goal, eager to go to the next level. So many people say they want to feel happy or secure or successful or whatever in life. Let's use happy as an example, but it works the same way for secure or successful or anything else you might want to feel. People set these big goals where if they reach them, they say they'll finally allow themselves to be happy. And then they proceed to struggle towards those goals without giving themselves permission to feel good. In fact, they purposefully make themselves feel bad for the fear that if they were to allow any good feelings, they would lose the motivation required to agonize through the long journey of reaching this goal, and they'd fail. In other words, they convince themselves that not reaching this goal will be so bad that they scare themselves into taking action. And while this may work to achieve the material goal itself, the problem with this approach is that even if they reach the goal, and they do actually allow themselves to feel happy, those feelings only last for a short period of time. Because we as human beings, we're always looking for something better. That's our nature. The pursuit of better never ends. And since you're always pursuing better, you're never satisfied with what you have, and you create a cycle of being unhappy in order to create the motivation needed to reach the goal in the hope that it'll make you happy. And that cycle repeats itself over and over and over again, meaning it's literally impossible to reach a point where you're genuinely happy for any period of time. My point being is that if you actually want to be happy, we might want to consider changing our approach a little bit. We might want to consider creating what we truly want on a regular basis. Yes, we still want to create the big goal. This gives us a direction, something worthy to strive for. But we're doing it because we want the goal, not because we think it's a requirement for a feeling, which in reality we can create anytime we want anyway. So to truly create a happy or secure life, we want to be happy and secure in the pursuit of our goals. We want to create little wins for ourselves on a regular basis. We want to make the choice to reward ourselves and to be happy and excited with the process. This not only provides motivation, but it also creates excitement around the process of creating goals and happiness in working toward them and overcoming challenges along the way, making it much more likely we'll actually set high goals and pursue our dreams in the first place. And perhaps best of all, as we move forward in the direction of our goals, this process allows us to experience the feelings of happiness, security, and success, even if we never reach the actual goal, which, when you really think about it, is all we ever truly wanted in the first place. So set that big goal, set up little wins along the path of that goal, reward yourself with each win, and enjoy your success, enjoy your security, and enjoy your happiness. Enjoy your life, whether or not that goal is ever realized. And that's what I have for you today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next Trading Performance podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to check out my Trading Performance membership, where we take all this material to the next level. We study it and we apply it to bring our trading performance to peak levels. Simply go to tradingperformancepodcast.com. That's one word, tradingperformancepodcast.com, to receive information on how you too can become involved and improve your trading. I look forward to seeing you there.